Go for it.
Oh, yeah. 2 pre-rolls, starting with our favorite partner, Athletic Greens. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. I gave it a try because I wanted better gut health. If you're looking for an easier way to take supplements, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/JRVP. That's athleticgreens.com/JRVP. Check it out. I was so excited. Anthony had to turn down my volume in his ear. Black Buffalo is also here today. Everything you love, nothing you don't. The feel, the taste, the ritual, just without the actual tobacco leaf or stem. If you're 21 and over and use products like this, it's time to join the Black Buffalo herd. Head to blackbuffalo.com. Use the promo code JRVP at checkout for 20% off your first order. That's the best offer you'll find, but you have to use my code JRVP for 20% off your first order. One last time, promo code JRVP for 20% off your order. It's all downhill, Anthony, after the pre-rolls, but we'll do our best with Anthony's advice for a felon, high-priced llamas for fake priests, and smearing dog poop on your critic's face. All coming up in episode 193 of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project. JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
In terms of priority, inspiration comes first. You come next. The audience comes last. I gotta say, we do have the best intro music of any podcast. I don't listen to any podcasts, but we've got the best intro music.
I think we do.
Yeah. Aaron, can you name a better podcast intro music?
If you gave me a second, I probably could.
We don't have time for that. We don't have time for you to
There's some brutal ones out there. There's a lot of there's a good like TikTok of a guy where it's like the hardest like rap intro ever, because a lot of podcasts start that way, and then it's like, all right, you're listening to Fantasy Pros Guide to like the 2022 season, which is how a lot of podcasts start, but ours starts hard and then we come hard.
I think that if you start with like hardcore hip hop, then you get sick of it. You hear the song, you're like, great, and then like after a couple weeks, you can't do it. You know what I mean? There's not many theme songs that hold up. Just us and White Lotus season 2.
Cheers. I do love the White Lotus themes. It like bothers me if people skip ahead.
I don't skip ahead. I listen. Even though Last of Us, I wish I could skip ahead. I don't really care about that music, but I don't.
Right. There's some shows worth skipping ahead, but the people that skip ahead of Friday Night Lights, like, I have no need for you.
Yeah? Didn't that show get canceled like 10 years ago?
I know. I'm just saying. I also was thinking about the college one. What am I thinking on Netflix with the banging drum beat, the football show?
Football U?
Last Chance U. People that skip that, forget about it. Wait, did you agree with that statement? Audience comes last? Who's that from?
That's a quote from Rick Rubin. I believe it's from the book that I'm recommending at the end of the show. It might just be a quote from him. I looked up Rick Rubin quotes. But I think that's a great way to look at creativity. Like, don't worry about the audience. Like, think about inspiration, and think about like what it does for you, and then the audience is last. You're not like, fuck the audience, but they definitely come last. Like Bob Dylan would say, fuck your fans. Like, if they don't like me changing my kind of music that I play, fuck them. I'm doing it for me. That I agree with that.
I think doing it for you, though, ends up being doing it for the fans. That's what I found. Not that I play in front of an audience that often.
I think the audience doesn't want to be like talked down to or like placated. That like, and there are people who do want that for sure. But if they're like, oh, he's like doing what he wants to do, I want to see what they want to do. You know what I mean? If I'm a fan, I'm buying a ticket. I want to watch what they want to give me.
Right.
You know, I'm not like I hope he plays. He's not a fucking jukebox. You know. And I'm not always like pumped about it. Like, I've gone to see concerts where I'm like, oh, I wish they were playing some different songs, but I'm happy that I got to see the songs they wanted to play.
If they're having a good time, you are. I mean, not that writing or talking about football is the same thing, but anytime I get really into stuff that I enjoy the most, that's what resonates the most with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not at all the same.
I had a JRVP shout out this morning on my run, though, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, just like about 6 blocks away from my house, was running. Guy was definitely eyeing me like from 30 feet away, so I was curious. And then as I got to, and I was wearing an NFL Network shirt, so that kind of gave it away. And then as I went by, I just was like, JRVP.
And does that make does that make you run faster, or do you just like stop walking? You stop running altogether? Like, I don't need this run anymore. I'm fulfilled. Or do you think about just like collapsing into someone's lawn and laying there until they come get you? That's what I would think about doing.
Well, it's always an awkward. It has happened. I shouldn't say that's never happened, because it has happened a couple times in my life. And it's always JRVP. It's usually not around the NFL. And like, do you stop in that situation? The answer, I guess, is obviously no. I mean, I don't. You just say like, "Oh, thanks, that's awesome," and then by then you're way gone. Never
stop. Always keep walking. Always keep moving. Like, acknowledge, thank you, kind of turn your head, and then just keep moving. But if you have the foresight to collapse into someone's lawn and scream in pain, I think that would be the funniest.
I think it was technically like not on a lawn situation. It was like outside, if I remember right. Maybe it was right before the church near me. It was like the Rick and Tina Caruso community center. I shouldn't be giving away where I am, but yeah.
If you're running by a church, that opens up a whole new world. Then I would kick over a crucifix. That's what I would do, because you're thinking about the guy. That guy's going to tell the story. And when you say you're going for a run, you mean rollerblading, right? Because that adds a whole new level to it. That's good. How was your week? How was Valentine's Day for you? What'd you guys do? How'd you let her down?
When was that? That was this day a week ago?
Yeah, that night after. I don't think you had anything planned.
No, I had nothing planned. I think her friend Renna came over that night. I'm mixing up nights. We had so many people over. Dean is visiting my brother. Her dad visited. That's right. He was still here.
Yeah. So did they overlap at all? Your brother?
They didn't see each other. No, they didn't overlap.
Have they met besides the wedding?
No, but just the wedding. And then her best friend Renna, who's a maid of honor, who you know.
I remember Renna.
And her husband and her baby were also visiting, working at that Frieze Art Fair. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but she's in the art world. It was a big thing this weekend. So it was like everything was happening. Valentine's Day, my birthday.
Happy birthday. What day is it? Is it this?
It was Sunday. It was the 19th.
The 19th, yes. I get confused
just like a lot of stuff all week.
It's Valentine's Day on the 14th. My mom's birthday is the 16th. And then your birthday is the 19th.
And it's Evan, my friend's birthday, on the 16th, too. So I went over his house on his birthday.
Yeah, I don't care about Evan's birthday.
With our kids. You should.
Yeah.
But Aaron,
another groomsman of yours.
Aaron, did you get Greg any... He wasn't my groomsman. I was a fellow groomsman. And I should have been best man. And Evan should have been best man over Dave, who you ended up choosing. And Evan's cool. Dave's whatever. What did you get for your birthday?
Dave listens to this, you know.
Good. Listen, Dave. Listen up, Dave. You know Evan. And you certainly know Jeselnik.
I didn't get anything for my birthday.
No one got you anything? Your kids didn't get you anything?
No.
Like a card? Like a homemade thing?
Nothing. Literally nothing.
Like zero.
Had I known, I would have sent you a sweet GIF.
I think...
That's true. Aaron sent me a GIF. What was the GIF you sent me?
It's Steve Harvey riding a dolphin that's farting rainbows.
He sent me pornography.
Yeah.
We went out for a nice dinner.
Where'd you go?
Went to a place called Mian, which is like Mian. I don't know, Mian. Chinese. I don't know why I keep saying it. It's like a Chinese noodle type place. It was amazing.
Sounds like you really did it up.
At the end of the dinner, another fan sighting. This time it was for around the NFL, and he said, big fan of your work. Also was a fan of your friend Chris. Like, so sorry that you lost him. I grew up near him. I was a big fan. Like, he grew up near Tybee Island, and my birthday is also Chris's birthday. So and that was my birthday night. So him saying that on that night, it felt like a little kismet. That
is cool. I mean, I would list all the fan interactions I had this week, but we only have 90 minutes to get through the podcast. I went to Louisville last weekend. Had a great time. Liz was not with me. It was just myself and my opener, Blair Saki, and stayed at a nice hotel. They were like, "Hey, we'll put you up in an A-loft." I was like, "Fuck that. I don't mess with A-lofts." You ever stayed in an A-loft?
Don't even know what that is.
It's a hotel chain. First time you stay in one, you're like, "Oh, this is nice." Second time, you're like, "This is a fucking college dorm, and I'll never stay here again." So I avoid that like the plague. Stayed in a nice hotel. Hotels are not good since the pandemic. They're still I think they're like a year or two away from getting back to what they were, where it's like a little understaffed. it's not as full as it used to be. There's no room
Everything's
service anywhere. You don't get the pay-per-view movies in the room that I used to like. It's not as good, even if you're staying in a really nice place. But it was right across the street from the club. 6 great shows, all sold out. Had a great time, and it felt so good to not be sick. Like, you know how you get sick and you just feel like this is your life now, that you're going to feel like this forever. You're never going to be 100% again. Being on stage and being like, oh, I can say whatever. I can use my voice. I feel good. It was very enjoyable. It was a very enjoyable weekend in Louisville. What else happened? Valentine's Day, took Liz to dinner. Went to the sushi restaurant, took her for her first date, and it was fine. It was like that. It's a really nice restaurant. And we sat down, and like, any restrictions, and Liz and I were both like, no whale sperm. And they were like, what? And we're like, no whale sperm. I'm like, oh, we don't have that tonight. But I realized that for the rest of my life, whenever I eat sushi, I'm going to have to tell them no whale sperm. I've only gotten it once, but it was so traumatic that I will always have to be like, no whale sperm, even though I know they're probably not going to give it to me.
It's pretty rare, I think, that a place would have whale sperm.
I know.
I've never come across it.
But I've
definitely gotten the omakase in Tokyo a number of times at different places. That never passed my lips.
Yeah. But, I mean, maybe it should. Maybe you've been eating whale sperm the whole time and you don't know. Someone's like, oh, you want shrimp? You're like, that's shrimp? I thought that was whale sperm. No, it's the opposite. Had a good Valentine's Day. Had to leave early the next morning for Louisville. But these next 2 weekends, Liz is coming with me, so that'll be nice. And I get 3 weeks off, which I'm so looking forward to. Like, it's a hard schedule. I got back Sunday night. Had a bunch of stuff to do yesterday. Today's Tuesday. Had a bunch of stuff in the morning. Doing this, and then I have the night off. Luckily, I leave a little later in the day tomorrow to get to Oklahoma City. But then I get back like early Sunday morning for a couple of days, back out, and then 3 weeks off, which will be very nice. Like, a friend of mine was like, hey, I want to do a TV show, and I'd love for you to be like the co-lead in it. And we had dinner and talked, and I was like, yeah, it's a good idea. I can see this, I can see that. And then I was like, I can't. Like, I can't commit to a big project like that. Like, a stand-up is just dominating my life. That the idea of adding anything more than like just this podcast once a week is a non-starter. So I graciously bowed out.
Well, I'm glad you really value our time together that highly. I think of this less as like a job and more just like bro time with the Cardigan Boy. Really,
it's interesting because before we started rolling, you were complaining about the commute.
I wasn't complaining. I just said it was an hour and 25 minutes. That's wild.
Aaron, was he complaining?
I mean, probably.
Aaron, did he or did he not cry?
There were tears.
There were tears.
It wasn't a complaint. Although then you quickly brought up, as you are wont to do, that I no longer have to send the emails to you. Mm-hmm. You don't like that I no longer have to push the buttons on the show, which Aaron has done a great job of the last few weeks on the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity project. JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
He is good.
Just nothing but perfect games.
He is good. Yeah. I mean, Greg, it was a comedy of errors when Greg was doing it.
Aaron also points out that he has like a touch screen, and I was having to, do it on my laptop while also dealing with, the script.
A bunch of things, a plethora of things.
The ads.
I'm excited. My assistant, you told me, you were like, hey, your assistant's not going to be able to, you're not going to find enough stuff for your assistant to do. You're going to go crazy trying to find jobs. But she's turning my life around. She's making my place like brand new. I'm getting this weekend while I'm gone, because Rummy's going on his vacation this week. Next week, the assistant takes Rummy into her own place, which will be interesting to see how that works, even though Rummy loves her now. I said...
For how long? Oh, when Liz goes.
Yeah, Liz is coming with me. And then the rest of it, like Liz will be here. But when I go on in the theater tour in the fall, hopefully I'm announcing that soon in the next like couple of weeks, a month. But a big theater tour. I'm going to have the fall dates. I'll be going into next year. I probably all next year I will be touring. So get your cities ready for me. But I'm excited about the announcement of the fall. But she'll be dealing with a lot of that. I think I won't even get into the dates, but I have exciting things to talk about when I do get to announce the dates and why I will be going there early to enjoy myself. But this weekend I'm getting 2 new toilets. I'm replacing both toilets, and just because one was fine, but the other one was like way too short. Like I didn't realize how short the toilet was. That it was like comical to use. And I was like, why am I dealing with this? Let me replace both of them. And then getting a new kitchen sink, which I'm excited about. And then a new door. It's all coming together for me. It's all coming up Jeselnik, which is good because my Pittsburgh Penguins are shitting the bed so hard. I can't remember the last time the Penguins missed the playoffs, and I think they're about to miss out this year. They've been playing like absolute shit. Don't tell me by bringing back the big three, Letang, Malkin, and Crosby. Even though Crosby's under
Love
contract.
Malkin and Crosby. Household names.
Letang is legit. They're playing great. They're playing great. It's the rest of the team. I blame the general manager. I don't think he's doing a good job. They don't have much of a farm system. I don't know what they're going to do about it. But for this team to miss the playoffs is an embarrassment. I'm going to stand by them. But
Are they going to miss the playoffs?
There's a good chance.
How many people listening to the podcast do you think are interested in the Penguins?
I just need one. Number one, my priority is inspiration. My second priority is me. My third priority is the audience. And listen, I like my hockey. We can't all be Johnny Football and eat, sleep, breathe football at the expense of getting birthday presents. I like my hockey, and the Penguins are so bad that I had to talk about it. It's upsetting, but I have hope. I follow them every game they play. I'm paying attention. I'm watching if I can. I'm
Do you
following
buy
them
like
online.
the NHL Center Ice package or whatever?
I bought that during COVID, but I haven't bought it since. They're on TV. Like I wish I think about getting ESPN Plus because they have a lot of the games on. But
you have all the. It's not like it's a lot of money. You're able to replace your sinks willy nilly. I think you can get ESPN Plus.
I'm replacing toilets in one sink.
You can bundle it with Hulu. Really get crazy.
I could. I'm just never home. I'm never home at night, but I can follow it online, see what's going on. I follow a couple, Penguins writers on Twitter who kind of like take me through the game. But it's a rough season for the old Penguins. How was your week other than your family ignoring you on your birthday?
They didn't ignore me. We had
What did Dave get you?
What a nice day.
What did Dave get you?
I told you, literally no one got me anything. Actually, my mother-in-law sent me a card and some cash.
Is that Ellis Burks?
Well, it's a good question. I shouldn't say no one got me anything. I don't think the Sweetest Swing baseball card store in Southington, Connecticut was sending me this as a birthday present. But they must have listened to our last episode, I believe, where I talked about naming my daughter after Ellis Burks. Maybe it was 2 episodes ago. And they sent a signed Ellis Burks rookie card to All Things Comedy. And I saw it sitting out here on the front table. So who got the best birthday present now?
Actually, that's a really nice rookie card signed. What do you think that's worth?
I admittedly just Googled it and like $8 or something.
Okay.
It's Ellis Burks.
Yeah, it's so cool. Well, do you keep that or do you give it to your daughter?
So I don't think she's as interested, so I think I'll just put it up. We're moving this week. We've already started moving, and I'm gonna set up a nice little podcast studio in the garage, we'll call it, and hopefully have a nice little background. Maybe this little Ellis Burks card can be part of the background.
It should. It's in a nice little case. Are you gonna get like a thing to frame it in, kind of? Like something a little nicer,
maybe.
It is like that's a cool. It's not worth a lot, but it's like it means a lot.
It's cool to me.
Yeah, like if I had like a Sidney Crosby, if I had a Sidney Crosby signed autograph rookie card, it would be worth more, I would assume. But I would.
It'd be worth a lot more. Yes.
Yeah, but I would like get one of those wood frames that you have that you can get that are cool. Like I've got my Ricky Henderson autographed baseball that I have in like a cool little wooden stand.
I was gonna just ask you this off air, but now that we're talking about it, I was gonna ask you for your decorator's name because I was thinking of getting help. What?
They don't do anything. Like they're like, if you want like your mansion done, we'll do that. But they don't do. They wouldn't help you. It's not a big enough job for them. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I was gonna have my place redone, and they were like, we're busy. We're booked. We're too.
Well, then why they did it for you though?
Years ago, a long time ago. No, they wouldn't do it for me again. I was gonna have my place redone. I didn't have a lot. I wasn't like from top to bottom, but I was gonna change a couple.
It would be
things.
a small job because I don't think Emeka wants the rest of the house. But I was thinking they could, help me set up this little garage. But yeah, we move Friday.
I'm sure someone will reach out and say that. So you Friday, and when do you have to be done?
We've already have the keys and have started moving slowly, but the actual move is Friday.
Have the kids seen the house? The new house?
Yeah, we showed them.
Did they go crazy?
Yeah, they went nuts.
Because I remember like when my parents, I grew up in like the first couple years of my life, like until I was like 4 or 5, I lived in this one tiny house in Pittsburgh, and then we moved out to the suburbs when I was like 5 or 6, and I remember just getting to that house the first night, and just all the kids just tearing ass full sprint like all up and down the house. Like it was amazing to have this like incredible playground that the pure joy was incredible.
It was very much like that. It didn't take long till they were like comparing room sizes of their rooms. But no, they went nuts, and they think the new house is so big. It's actually the exact same size as our current house, but it's 2 floors, and they each have their own room. So no, it was a very exciting.
Are the rooms next door to each other?
Moment.
Like what?
No, they're down the hall from each other.
All 3 of you are upstairs?
No, only Emeka and I are upstairs. It's like a full bath, a bathroom and bedroom upstairs, and that's it.
So the kids are downstairs. Are you worried that
it's party time upstairs?
Are you worried they're gonna? I think it's party time downstairs. I think you guys go to sleep at like 9:30, and those kids are sneaking out for sure. Do you have the thing where when you open a door it beeps?
No.
You got to get that.
Why?
Because your kids are getting up.
We
your
can
kids are getting
hear
up there.
them.
Once they're 12 or 13.
They're going to be, I mean, Walker's 8. He's going to be coming up to our room. That's what I'm more worried about. He already gets up early and just watch. He gets up earlier and earlier every day just because he realizes no one's going to stop him from watching NASCAR if he just gets up at 5:40 in the morning. So he can get like a solid hour of NASCAR. He just rewatches old NASCAR videos until we get up, and it's like a free hour of TV that he wouldn't get otherwise.
That's great. I mean, let him have it. Enjoy your free hour NASCAR. What I would do if I were you, you want to keep him up. You want to keep him going
why
upstairs.
NASCAR? It's so boring. But
maybe because his dad takes him to NASCAR once a year, and he enjoys that time.
I'm a good dad.
You want to keep your kids from coming upstairs?
Yeah.
Home alone your steps. Tar the steps with a nail in there, so when the shoes come off, they step on the nail, and then the paint cans. Am I missing anything, Aaron? Was there anything else in the Home Alone stairs?
I was thinking Christmas ornaments,
Yes, Christmas ornaments, then tar, then the nail,
Marbles.
then paint cans. Marbles are good too.
Yeah.
Marbles are good too. But like, how old's Ellis now?
11.
Yeah, in 2 years, when she's a teenager, she will sneak out of the house.
What does that even mean? Well, when they leave the house, the door does go up. There is a sound.
That's what I asked.
I thought you said when
ago.
they leave their bedroom door.
No, you don't need like surveillance in the house.
Yeah,
Are you putting cameras in the house?
There was a Ring doorbell.
That's outside. That's pointed outside.
Yeah.
Because I see TikToks where people are like, a kid falls down, then like they have cameras in their house. I'm like, this is horrifying. I would not want to live in a house that had
I'm
cameras
very
inside.
anti-Ring, and I didn't want to continue this. I was anti-Ring at our current place, and we never got it put up or even like outdoor stuff. But I'm losing this battle.
Emeka likes the Ring.
She likes the Ring.
I can see that.
Backyard. But you're right. It's all outside at least. I just feel like I think the more cameras that are added, the less security. And it's ironic.
That's weird. I would want the Ring camera for package thieves. I don't have to worry about package thieves in my building.
What is the Ring camera going to do? Oh, okay. There's a guy with a brown jacket that stole your FedEx. No one gives a shit.
I would think if FedEx is insured, like you show them that and they're like, okay, we'll reimburse.
They do that anyways. Amazon reimburses. Nothing's going to happen. You think the local police is going to have a manhunt for this guy just because you had your Ring camera?
Yeah.
No one cares.
Yeah.
I had a strange person walk up to my house this morning.
Right. I don't want to know about it. It's kind of like Next Door. People are so into Next Door.
Well, hey, let Aaron tell the story.
Okay.
No one gives a shit, Aaron.
We were going to get to it. It's Aaron's time. Aaron didn't have any podcasts before us today, and so now he's just trying to really shine on this one.
No, you just happened to be talking about something that happened to me today. So
okay.
Someone came up to your door. Did you talk to them?
No. I was looking at the cameras because there was construction in my street, so I was trying to show my daughter, hey, look at the construction in the street. And I go down a little further.
You're a great dad.
Oh, there was somebody in our front driveway before the construction came. And then I looked at the Ring, and they had come all the way up to our front door, and were looking around the side of our house.
Probably looking for me.
Maybe.
I mean, if you're looking for me, the best you can probably do is Aaron.
They at least want my phone because I got those sweet gifts.
Anything else happening this week besides you're getting ready for the move? That's a big thing. Are you doing it yourself? Are you guys like boxing up and taking it out? Or are you getting a company to come and do it?
Emeka's boxed. I haven't done anything. She's done quite a bit. I mean, but movers are coming to move the boxes and the big stuff. And we've been moving like clothes and some awkward stuff over ourselves because it's only like a mile away.
I get scared thinking about it. I just remember I moved once where I was moving out of the building I live in now into like a place in Larchmont. And I had an assistant who was like he was like a PA on the Jeselnik offensive who was going to help me with it after the second season got canceled. And I was like, I'm on the road. have the movers come. The movers are coming. They're boxing everything up. They're taking it over. They're unboxing it, taking the boxes away with them. And I was like, before I left, I was like, okay, leave the books in the boxes. Everything, like, they can do their job for everything else. I'm paying for it. Leave the books in there because I'm going to take the books out one by one and put them on the shelves as I see fit. And he was like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to go through the books and do it. And then I come back from the road, go to my new place. I'm all excited to walk in and see what it looks like. And he had misunderstood me. And all the boxes were unpacked, were packed up. And I spent like a week going through and like unwrapping individual plates and like putting them away, just so mad that there was nothing I could do about it, that now I'm like, you know what? The books aren't that important. Do what you need to do.
I've got an update on the birthday situation.
Mm-hmm.
I've now gotten 2 presents.
What's the second present?
During the show, Aaron has sent me a happy birthday gif of Steve Hardy riding a dolphin.
Same birthday present you got me.
I mean, my love is equal, guys.
That it shouldn't be equal. I should get more love.
We split it. We split it down the middle.
If Greg wanted to fire Aaron, guess what would happen? Nothing. If I wanted to fire Aaron, gone. That's what's up.
Good to know.
And now it's time for Did We Get Any Notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
People loved the singing last week. I'll say that as far as notes go. In fact, Greg and I signed a recording contract. It's a 12-year deal, and we get 1% of a penny for each album we sell. We're excited. We're getting in the studio right now. And it'll never happen again. We'll never sing again, but it was fun. A couple announcements to make in the Did We Get Any Notes?
Although the dancing that you just put together is the biggest motivation our listeners should ever have to watch us on YouTube. Because
it's the only motivation you need.
Level.
It's the only motivation you need. I get into it because I know the fans want it. They want it. They need it. If you guys got merch from the TeePublic store, enjoy your merch. It's about to become rare. If you haven't gotten merch, you're thinking about it, you have until the end of the month. You have until March 1st, I believe, to get merch. I'm shutting it down. TeePublic, the store, it's good if you're for a podcast, if you're always putting stuff out, if you're pumping stuff out. We're not going to do that. We were working on a couple other things, and I got sick of it. Liz got sick of it. Everyone got sick of it except TeePublic. And we're bored. We're shutting it down. The TeePublic's been told. They said they're disappointed, but they understand. We weren't pumping in the designs like they wanted to. I love the stuff still. I'm going to wear it. So if you want it, you've got a week or so. Yeah, a week to get some.
That's it? You got to get it in the next week? Are we going to make more?
No. I was going to do a different company and do some merch.
That's what I thought.
And they came back with some ideas, and I was like, I hate this. Like comedy, I wanted like something that was just like Anthony Jeselnik or like a picture or something. They're like, what about, I think the exact design that made me throw my hands up in the air and say, fuck this forever. It just said, Anthony Jeselnik dropped my baby. And I was like, no, I don't want like a fucking joke. And I guess I don't look at other comedians' merch, but I don't want to have like the joke on the t-shirt. I don't like that. And I don't want to have to deal with getting it to shows, taking the rest out, and it's not that much money. It's not worth it. Like I used to sell CDs after shows for like $10. I had to buy them for $5, sell them for $10. And at the end of the weekend, I'd be like, I have this money, but was it worth it? No, it was not. So no more merch. And maybe one day I change my mind and we do something. But for now, like my manager was like, this will probably be the thing that makes you quit merch altogether. And I don't want to do it.
What does that mean? What is the thing that makes you quit merch?
The design that was like Anthony Jeselnik dropped my baby. That was like, no. I don't want to get into it.
I mean, we could come up with our own idea, but you're getting rid of the JRVP.
Here's what we're doing. And I would have had a JRVP thing in there or something. We're going Fugazi. Make your own merch. I did a show, I think it was in Salt Lake City. Someone had a JRVP like Dare t-shirt that I was like, yeah, he made that himself. Make it. Keep the money. We don't need your money. I don't want to have to deal with merch ever.
That's a pretty good
idea. I will
idea
give up
right
all that
there,
money.
Actually.
Make your own merch.
That's it. We just got it.
I was going to have TeePublic do that next, do one of the Dare shirts, and I was like, no, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of their designs.
I feel like this is all because people on Reddit or Twitter, I always say Reddit's double-edged sword here, cracked on the designs.
That did it for Liz. I like this stuff, but we had to keep putting in more to keep the store going.
We had some good. We never did the sweep before you mop shirt.
I was working on a sweep before you got a sweep before you mop. I forget what I had a second design they were working on, and then the Dare thing, and then I was just like, you know what, life's too short. I'm not doing this anymore. No more merch. Make your own merch. You can do it, guys. You can make yourselves happy. We don't care. So no more merch at the end of the month. You got a week if you want. Last time I had merch that I was like, I'm making this 50% off. Let's get rid of it. As soon as it was gone, people were like reaching out, being like, "Where can I get merch? Can I get some more of that? It's sold out, but are you gonna make more?" No, we're not. People are always gonna say that. You got a week. Other than that,
damn. I think in like season 11 of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project, JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
Just trying to keep him on his toes, and he's always there. We'll bring back the merch. Maybe not even that long. Next year.
If someone comes to me and like makes it really easy, or if you like, hey, I researched it. This is the designs we've come up with. Do we want to put this out? Great. I don't care. I don't care, and I don't have a good feel for it. That I'm done with it. What I do have a good feel for is episode 200, which is coming up in 7 weeks. Do we want to do a live podcast? Because I feel like last time we did episode 100, there was a live podcast. There was no YouTube channel. So it was like you got to see us doing it, which was kind of all we added. We did a longer episode. There wasn't anything crazy special.
It was exclusive. It was exclusive. We didn't put it out.
Yeah, we wouldn't be putting this out either. But do we want to do that again? I don't know what Greg and I would do that would be like, oh, we feel like we should pay $10 for this. So we're considering it. But I'd like to hear from the fans. Comment on the YouTube page. Comment on Reddit. If you want to see an episode 200 live version or whatever it is that we would do. I think we would do it in the studio. Maybe you'll get to see what Aaron looks like. Would you fork over you know what, $10 to see the podcast, and then $15 to see what Aaron looks like? Aaron, how do you feel about that?
I don't like it.
They could probably figure it out.
$20 will tell you where Aaron's house is and how to disable the Ring camera. $20. So yeah, let us know. We got like another like month or so before we do it. I think it can be pretty last minute if we decide to, but I could go either way. If the fans want it, we do it for the fans. It's money, but it's not like that much money compared to what I make on the road per show. So I don't care. But if the fans want it, we would come up with something. And again, I will find a way to make it special in some way. I think last time, I was very candid during the Q&A afterwards. Told a lot of things I would normally never say on the regular podcast. If you can believe that. I'm a pretty open book here. But yeah, no more merch. And do you want a live show for episode 200? I'm fine just making it for the people, making it a free one.
Right, because if either way, we need to put out an actual JRVP that people can listen to.
That's right.
So they're getting 200 one way or another, even if we call it 201.
Aaron, what do you think? Do you think we should do a live pay-per-view 200 episode podcast?
Sure.
Have you ever done one here at All Things Comedy?
Yeah.
They've said they like have the ability.
Uh-huh.
Who did it?
We did it for the dollop.
The dollop. Yeah, that must have been. You can't wait to hear the dollop.
It was actually really great.
I like Dave Anthony.
A lot of video and elements and stuff. It was really good.
I like David. Dave Anthony, who does the dollop, it was a friend of mine, stand-up comic. I don't think he does stand-up anymore. But I remember one time we were doing a show at the Meltdown. It was like in this back of a comic book store. And I forget what I said, but I buried him.
I went to that show once.
I buried him. I was like, I forget what I said, but I remember he was just like, why would you do that to me on stage? And I wish I could remember what I said because it was devastating. But listen to the dollop.
Yeah.
It's great.
This is how most of your relationships end.
Mm-hmm. Wait until this one ends.
I just take it though. That's
you know what? I'm gonna if we do
me and Dollop over there.
If we do a live episode 200, I will end my relationship with Greg on the air. You'll get to see it.
We'll also sing. I mean, we would have to add some production value, maybe some song and dance.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. I mean, if you're afraid of putting in too much extra, that makes sense. We could.
What if? Okay.
We could stream it for free to your YouTube page. I mean. That's always an option.
No, we're doing it for money, for sure.
Okay. Right.
But what if we did it like we're not sitting down, so when I dance to the music, it's a full body dance and not just a sit down dance, and then Greg sings everything. Greg can't talk without singing.
The one thing I loved about the last show was it couldn't be seen anywhere.
Mm-hmm. That would be the same. It would be the same thing here. You would own it. You could watch it whenever you wanted. I think people who got the last one got to keep it like on their computer or whatever. They can watch it again. But you had 2 weeks to watch it.
What an honor.
Maybe that's not true. Maybe they just had 2 weeks to watch it. Yeah. But it was a good time. I would do it again. I'm happy not doing it again. And that was. Did we get any notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
And now it's time for Email Corner.
Email corner. Emails are a thing. Email corner. Email. It's email corner.
Guys, emails are a thing. They've been around for dozens of years. You can go on your computer, hit the little envelope button, type in an address, write a subject, put something in the body of it, and hit send, and it will be read by someone. Sometimes people send these to us, and my assistant, Miss Kim, goes through them and sends them to me, and then I pick 3 of them. Don't wear my sunglasses.
I got a Harry Carey vibe going on. I like this.
Yeah, they're cool sunglasses. Don't put them over there. Put them back where you got them.
I like them.
Don't put them back the way they were.
I look like the Jewish grandfather I'm destined to be. I kind of look like a mid-career Elliot Gould, you know.
I've met your kids. You are destined to be no such thing.
What does that even mean?
I mean, your kids aren't going to have kids. They're too young.
Yeah, but it doesn't even make sense. The joke doesn't even make sense.
Aaron laughed.
What, they're sterile? They're so ugly they can't have children? I mean, where does it take you?
I believe they're incapable of having children at this time.
That's true. Let's talk emails. You can email us at JRVP Junior Vice President at gmail.com.
And I should say that
say hi to Miss Kim. I might even check in here and there.
Please. Going forward in the next month or 2, we will be doing a mailbag episode. So if you Miss Kim reads all these and then sends them to me, but if you want something for the mailbag and not just for Email Corner, put mailbag in the subject line, and I will have Miss Kim make a note of that.
First email is from James Christopher. When it comes to the stage, there's no arguing that Anthony's anything less than a chrome-plated destroyer of worlds. On the pod, however, moments occasionally shine through, exposing him more of, let's say, a little old silly Billy.
That's fair.
I'm surprised you okayed this one. This is the one you approved, calling you a little old silly Billy. You've mentioned your love of Tim Robinson's I Think You Should Leave. Where do you land with other highly absurdist comedies such as Monty Python or Tim and Eric? Have you ever considered dipping your toes into zanier brands of comedy yourself?
Kind of. I mean, I think what I do, I don't act silly, but it is very silly. The jokes I tell are silly to me. We're like, oh, that's so dark, that's so crazy. Like, it's all silly to me. It's crazy. It's silly to be that character and do that thing. I like the character I play. I'll play it for the rest of my life. I think it's funny to put that character into silly situations. Like, I was on the Comedy Bang Bang IFC TV show, playing myself like at a roast, but it was like a very silly show, and I liked, like, let them be silly off of me. That's fun. If I Think You Should Leave asked me to come on and be on the show, yeah, I assume I would be the straight man on that show. You know, and like that's perfect. But when it comes to like Monty Python, Tim and Eric, more absurdist comedy, I love that shit. Like, I don't want to watch like dark, smart jokes. That's what I do. I like the more absurd, wacky, silly things, you know.
I've said on this show a number of times, a lot of times you're my favorite jokes, and I never have the right example. I need to just go rewatch your special to have it, you know. But are the silly ones. You throw in like 5 just totally silly jokes that, I mean, I know a lot of your jokes don't have any sort of deeper meaning, or some of them don't have any deeper meaning, but these are truly just like silly for silly sakes. And a lot of times those are the ones that make me laugh the hardest.
Oh yeah. And like when I'm trying out jokes,
stupid. If
I'm writing a bunch of jokes and I go try them out, there's always 1 or 2 in the jokes I'm trying out where I'm like, I'm never going to tell this again, but it's so silly, I want to say it once. And the audience laughs, I laugh at it. I'm like, it wouldn't work in my act, but I really enjoy the silly stuff. And again, the silly comedy is my favorite. I don't need someone telling me how to vote. You know, I don't need someone telling me what's wrong with the world. Just be silly, make me laugh.
But have you noticed the increasing influence of comedians in the political sphere and how those two are really combining on a lot of quality shows. It's like, what power the comedians have had. Have you thought about this trend?
I don't think anyone has ever voted based on what a comedian told them to do.
Our next question is from Connor. I have a question for Anthony. I'm an aspiring stand-up in Minneapolis. However, I have felony convictions that include a long probationary period, meaning that should I achieve success here, I may be kept from things like touring or possibly even relocating to a bigger market for as long as 20 years. Should I continue to pursue stand-up with the goal of making it my career, even if it will be so long before I can hope for even wider visibility? For context, I'm 24 years old, which would put me in my mid-40s when I get off probation/parole. Thanks for the help. I hope you can weigh in, even though this is a really specific question.
Happy to. One of my openers this weekend we talked about being a felon. Of like, and his probation period was almost up. He was almost done. He was going to be able to move and go to LA or something. But I think he was able to go on the road a little bit. Like when you're on probation, you can, I assume, leave for work. But I would say stick with it, because if you're really good and there's like something special about you, they're like, oh, this guy's great, he physically can't leave Minneapolis. You've got to go to Minneapolis to see him, but he's so great that you may as well do it. Whenever anyone comes and tours through Minnesota, they bring him to open because he's so incredible that like that's part of your story. That's part of your narrative. People will come and see you. And it's like, it's a different path, but I think it's just as good to just be like this thing that like, oh, I've got to go there to see him. That people will work around you. And now with like everything's remote, you could get a writing job. You could get voiceover work. You can get things if you're so good. And again, it is an uphill battle, but I think it makes it unique. And if you really love comedy, I don't know what your other options would be that you're thinking about that the comedy would take away from. If it's like, oh, should I take like a 9-to-5 job or do this? Maybe the 9-to-5 is for you, but I don't think it should be prohibitive that you're on probation for the next 20 years to do stand-up. And again, if you're good enough and you get opportunities, the courts, I assume, would work with you to let you entertain these opportunities. But I think it would be like a cool story. Like this, oh, that guy's awesome. Yeah, he's actually like not able to leave the state because of his probation. So you just got to see him here. But I think it would make you special, and people would come to see you.
People would eat that shit up as a story, and that's like that would be a good problem to have. And Connor's 24 years old, so I feel like that problem would not come for a while. Like the problem of like, oh, I can't tour by leaving the state, or it might hurt my wider visibility. I mean, that would be great if you could get to that point that would be a problem. I feel like people think about that kind of stuff a lot, of like things that could get in the way if it starts going well. And like you can't think like that.
No. And again, 24, give it like 6 years, build up to where you would be going on the road probably. But I think that people will work around you if that's your situation, as long as you're like great.
Plus, you could work it into your act a little bit. I mean,
I guarantee he's going to have jokes about how he's a felon.
Although he didn't say why he was a felon.
Don't need to know. Don't care. I'm on your side, buddy. Yeah, go for it.
I don't need to know, but it would have been spicy. Maybe in the act he'll talk about it. David Danny is our last question. After hearing about Anthony's bad food experience in Salt Lake City, I can't let that happen in my hometown. He sent Anthony a list of good food options in Oklahoma City. They know it's a privilege to host Anthony and possibly Liz, and we will not let you down. That's right. My podcast, Around the NFL podcast producer, Justin Graver, has a family member going to see you in Oklahoma City.
Wow.
There's some information.
Talk about not let me down.
The question's about financial stability in the entertainment industry. I have a very stable, predictable job as an accountant at a large corporation. It may not be very exciting, but I will likely never have to worry about having to have a stable paycheck. Being in the entertainment media industries, how do you both think about your financial future? Do you feel secure, or is there still stress about how the content stand-up scene may change in the next 5 to 10 years?
This question's for both of us. I'll hear your answer in a second. I mean, I know that I can always do stand-up. Stand-up's never going away. There's the booms end and begin, but I'll always be able to go and tour on the road. Will I always have material? I don't know. Is this hour that I'm doing now my last hour? It's possible. Not likely, but possible. It just takes so much to build up. TV comes and goes. I don't know if I'll ever be on TV again for the rest of my life, the way it is. Streaming is almost annoying to me. I don't like the fact that they're just like taking shit off now, if it makes sense to them for tax purposes. That, I don't know. Podcasting, of course, will live forever. It will only get bigger. There's no bottom to this bitch. But what gets like, and I'm good about putting money away. I have a business manager. I put money away. I'm going to be taken care of no matter what happens, because I've made good decisions. But what's I've got to worry about is like right now when I'm touring, I'm feasting. Like the money is coming in like crazy, where it's like it's tempting to go blow it and be crazy.
Sometimes you have a little.
Sure, of course. I mean, I
within reason,
I do
maybe a little less than some others, but
yeah. But I don't like buy the houses and the cars and shit like that. I like my sunglasses, but I have to remind myself
like a
that
nice dinner.
Even though of course, but that's eating, that's food. I need that. But I have to remind myself that I'm going to tour for the next like 2 years, but 3 years, do a special. But then I'm going to have like 3 years at least, if not 4 or 5, where I don't make any money. Where I'm making like podcast pennies, as I call them, that I have to remind myself that I'm not making this, it's not a salary, that I've got like a 10-year contract. So you have to, like, anyone who works in freelance in any aspect has to like know to take money out for their taxes at the end of the year. You don't want to like spend it as if that's your check, because you're gonna get hit hard on taxes. But as long as you like have good people around you giving you good decisions, I don't sweat my future anymore.
I don't sweat mine, but this question's hitting me at a unique time where it definitely has occurred to me that I'm doing well now with the podcast, with both podcasts around the NFL. The NFL job has spiked on this last contract, and in no way do I assume it's going to last that way forever, because I've seen the NFL churn out people around my level in terms of, what they're making and everything, and they come and go. Podcast feels a little more stable because we have an audience that I hope doesn't go away, but the business itself can and will absolutely change in the next 10 years. So who the fuck knows? So I have that in my mind now that I'm making more money, that like, yeah, I can't totally assume I'm going to be at this level in 5 years. Maybe I'll be better. Like that's the hope. But I don't assume it. And I've always had very reasonable hopes. I had more of a stable job. I always thought I was good enough at doing this that I'd be able to work, but I never assumed that I was gonna do incredibly well off it, like financially, because it's sports, covering sports. Like some people make a lot of money, but it's been a shrinking business since the day I entered it, essentially. Like sports media has only been contracting. There's only been like layoffs at every place I've ever worked. So I've tried to, remind Emeka too, like, it's possible this thing could go away or it could shrink, and I don't try not to get my head too far ahead of myself.
Well, at least she's having the time of her life now. I think about my girl Sigrid Nunez, who talked about like if you become a writer, you are swearing to like a vow of poverty. You're swearing a vow of poverty. Like you shouldn't assume you're ever going to make money. Just be good at writing. Where when I got into comedy, I assumed maybe I would get a writing job and make like $3,000 a week, which is great. But everything I've made like above that has been gravy. That I do it because I love it. I try not to think about the money. As long as I'm taken care of, I don't do anything stupid with money. But I know I'm
think about the money. Of course, we think about the money.
And money in terms of like respect. Like I've taken jobs where like the money's not good, but I'm like, oh, I still want to do the job, and they treat me like shit. The jobs where I'm paid a lot are the jobs where I like have a good time and I feel like I'm being respected. Where now if someone's like, what would it cost to get you to do this? I give the right amount. I give the price like, listen, I don't want to do this. I don't care if I don't do this. Here's the amount of money you've got to get me through the door happy. And most times they're like, no, we're not doing that, and I'm fine with that. But I know I'm not going to give anyone a discount anymore, because then they treat you like shit. When they pay you, they have to listen to you. And that's what I like.
Yeah, I went to a talent contract, I think 5 years ago. I was having kind of like our emailer David, about as stable as a job that you could have in sports media, which is I was like management, but I was also writing. So I was like front facing, but I was more management. That was sort of what I was getting paid for. And that was a very stable, slow, increase that eventually, like, it had a ceiling. I was already reaching that ceiling and took a risk to do more talent stuff because it seemed more fun, but also because it seemed higher upside, and that's paid off. But it could absolutely it could backfire when it's time for the kids to go to college and like podcasting goes away. Who knows?
I've met your kids. They're
I
not
don't
going to
think
college. They're not going to college. Have fun at UC you later. And that was Email Corner.
And that was Email Corner. Diamonds around the world unite. Diamonds around the world unite.
And now it's time for
Copy.
Ellis Burks like writes he like signs his name like I would if I was like 13.
Mm-hmm.
This very neat cursive.
He's signing that shit all the time. He's got his little method down.
You know who else has got their little method down? Black Buffalo. If you're 21 and over and you use nicotine or pouches or long cut, you got to try the tobacco alternative Black Buffalo. Do you know the details, Anthony, at this point? Black Buffalo's been around with us for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tobacco free.
Okay.
But
No, it's not always tobacco
free. But I don't know what I'm not supposed to say in the ad. I could describe
That's
it
fair.
to someone.
It's what I was going to say. It's like a tobacco alternative.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same feel, the same ritual, but without the actual tobacco leaf or stem. It's made from a variety of cabbage leaves. So it's a different leaf, same ritual, and you can get it in wintergreen, you can get it in mint, you can get it in straight peach, even blood orange. And if you want, you can get it without the nicotine too, without the pharmaceutical grade nicotine. That is
That's the cool thing.
zero
Like if you want to
option.
get off of it, you can you can mix the nicotine free with the nicotine added, and then slowly wean down until you're just doing nicotine free, and then get off it completely. That's the Heineken Zero of nicotine.
Black Buffalo, it's got nice little packaging. You can subscribe to it.
Yeah, it comes to your house. You never run out.
If you go to blackbuffalo.com, they're also selling it in stores. If you're 21 or over and use products like this, time to join the Black Buffalo herd. You head to blackbuffalo.com, use the promo code JRVP at checkout for 20% off your first order. It's the best offer you'll find. You have to use the code JRVP for 20% off your first order. Again, you can buy it online at blackbuffalo.com or thousands of retail locations across the country. Check out the store locator on the website, blackbuffalo.com, promo code JRVP.
Give me the warning.
The warning's now too long. They have like a new warning that's so long I don't think it's for me to read.
Warn me about something.
Stay out of the sun. Like, even though it's 61 degrees in LA, if you're in that sun, like all day long. I was on Sunday with Walker.
Warning, this
sunburns.
product contains nicotine.
Athletic Greens.
Athletic Greens, listen, okay? Greg and I have been doing Athletic Greens for a long, long time. All right, we're daily on this shit. We love it. I bring it on the road with me. I bring the travel packets on the road. I've got my little cookie jar with the screw top that's full of the powder that I mix every morning. Every morning, it's the first thing I do. I put it in my thing, 10 ounces of water. There's a little mark on the jar they give you. It lets you know how much water you're putting in before you dump the scoop in. I was on the road this weekend with my opener, Blair. She's an Athletic Greens girl herself, independent of us. She buys it. She does the subscription thing.
I hope she uses
She's all about
the
it.
promo code JRVP.
I'm going to tell her to. But I was telling her like how amazing it was. I wake up in my hotel room, and I don't have a fridge in my room. So I'm doing room temperature water for the first time. I usually do cold water with this stuff. Now I pour it in, and I pour in a bottle of Fiji water. That's what the club gave me when I left, with some Fiji water. Fiji water is like expensive stuff. It was so decadent, Greg. 10 ounces of Fiji water mixed in with Athletic Greens. It tasted like nothing else. It tasted like just smoother. And I'm not saying you got to do Fiji, but I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I tell Blair, I'm like, Blair, I went with Fiji water this morning. Game changer. I wouldn't do it on the regular, but in a pinch, I'm like, oh, it's great. I'm looking forward to it. Blair tells me
That's living.
she never drinks cold water with her Athletic Greens. She does tap water with it. And I'm like, what do you do? 8 ounces, 10 ounces, or 12 ounces? Which is it? You got to pick one of those three. She fills that bitch to the top. She doesn't even look at the mark. She just fills her whole container with water, then dumps the scoop in, and then chugs it. That's incredible. I'm telling you, there's no
bones and
wrong
all.
way.
That's bones and all.
There's no wrong way to drink your Athletic Greens. As long as you got some sort of liquid in there and a scoop of that sweet green stuff, you are going to get the vitamins you need, the minerals you need. Your gut health is going to be off the chain. My gut health is so good. I got sick for a couple weeks. I recovered faster than I've ever recovered before, thanks to Athletic Greens. You travel a lot like I do, you need it. You need it. Type in JRVP. And type in JRVP and tell them you need it.
Well, athleticgreens.com/JRVP. No promo code. I misspoke earlier. And you can't just type in JRVP. I mean, you need more than
You
that.
call them. Tell them JRVP. And when they ask for clarification, tell them you need it. And buy it. Subscribe.
I mean, I just typed in JRVP into Google and just like our podcast pops up. That has nothing to do with Athletic Greens. You know? Just saying.
You're doing it wrong. Don't be a Greg. Tell them you need it.
If you're looking for an easier way to take supplements, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/JRVP. That's athleticgreens.com/JRVP. Check it out.
And that was
Ad copy.
Let's get to headlines.
Let's get to headlines. Let's get to headlines. Let's get to headlines.
That's good. Aaron, how comfortable do you think you would be like reenacting the music? Like if we didn't have the music one day and we're like, Aaron, when we point to you, just reenact it.
If I sing it?
Yeah, like you're Bobby McFerrin this shit.
Oh boy.
Could you do it?
Maybe the tunes. I don't know how great it would be.
Do headlines for me real fast.
I'm battling a cold. This is a bad idea.
I've never had a better idea than this.
Do headline.
It was a pretty bad idea.
That was great. The do. You nailed it.
Thank you.
Headlines, you did your best.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in here sick. You know what you need? Athletic Greens. That's right.
All right, we're starting with the story you knew was going to be a Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project story.
JRVP story.
Come on.
We got it.
Button.
Touch your
Junior Vice President.
story. Touch your screen, Aaron. Touch it.
See, I snuck. It was a sneak attack. It's tough. A German ballet director is in deep shit after living out every artist's fantasy. He smeared dog poop on a critic's face after getting a bad review.
I love this. Okay, I've read the story. I love it. Okay, you think of a German, a ballet director, you think of the most pretentious person you've ever seen in your entire life. A German ballet director makes Lydia Tarr look like Wilma Flintstone, okay? This guy has got to be a total fucking asshole no matter what. He carries around, he's got a very old and elderly wiener dog. What do you call those things?
Yeah.
What's the type of dog, Aaron?
Dachshund?
Dachshund, yeah.
Dachshund.
He's got one of those little wiener dogs. He carries with him constantly, and it's really old. So he's got the shit with him. He gets a bad review, and it's like some weird pretentious dance shit. I don't know how you fuck up dance, but I assume German dance has got to be, it's sprockets.
It's a ballet.
It's sprockets all day.
It's just a ballet.
It's ballet, but they're wearing black turtlenecks. They're sprocketing for sure. For sure.
The critic was sick of all the sprocketing.
Yeah, and they're like, this is just weird. It's bad. And I would think like even the best German ballet must get bad reviews. Like what else do you review that you would give a good review to this? So you get a bad review. I can't imagine someone's like, I want to go see German ballet. Oh, it got a bad review. No, we're not going anymore. You go to that shit because you got nothing else to do. You're old and you're German. And so you go to these things. He gets a bad review, finds out the critic's going to be at this party, gets the dog to shit, picks up the shit, goes confronts the critic, and then smears dog shit on her face, and then runs away. And now is shocked that he was suspended and then fired, I think.
I think right now he's just suspended. I'm not even sure he's been officially fired.
It's amazing that they would even think to not, unless it's like some kind of contractual thing where they're like, we need to go through due process before we fire him.
I told my brother Dean about this, who's in the art world as well. He's like, he didn't think he'd be fired at all. He thought that would be ridiculous. He's like, he must be bad if he got fired.
You can't smear, even to yell at a critic. Because I've had some bad reviews, but I'm always like, thank you for like paying attention to my work. I don't need to have good reviews across the board. Again, I've gotten great reviews. I prefer them. But even if it's a bad one, I would, if I saw the critic, I'd be like, thanks for watching my special. I don't need, it doesn't have to be personal. But a German ballet director who carries around a dachshund, you're smearing shit. I think when you got that dachshund as a puppy, you were thinking about the day that you could smear shit on someone. There's no other reason to carry a dog around unless you want to have shit handy to smear on a critic. And I think he probably thought this was going to be great. And then as soon as he did it, as he did it, he regretted it. He ran away thinking like, oh, I'm so fucked now. It was fun in the moment. It was fun. And now it's not. Now it's bad. And I can't believe he's even trying to defend himself.
He's not apologetic.
No.
I have a lot of details about everything that happened. But he performed later that night. You're right. It was at some sort of function. But they had a show that night. And he did the show. And he gave a bow, acting as if nothing had happened, even though the critic had gone to the police, just hadn't, they hadn't come over, and not everyone knew about it. But I'm sure some people at the ballet knew about it. And he didn't apologize. I found an update to the story, and he said that she, talking about the critic, it was a woman, she threw shit at me for over 20 years. And at some point, I asked myself the question whether I want that. How would other people react who work hard having dirt thrown at them over such a long timeline? I don't think any hardworking person would put up with that for that length of time. So I guess smearing dog shit was okay.
Listen, it's a cultural thing too. I mean, in Germany, smearing shit on someone's face is like, it's a misdemeanor at best. I mean, these guys did World War II. Don't forget.
It's like a greeting. It's like a way to say hello to an enemy.
It's a sign of affection. It's a little shit on the face. The fact that it was dog shit was like a bridge too far. But I think this guy must be the worst person in the world. Just being a German ballet director, I gotta think, and being an alternative one, whichever he is, they're not standing on their toes and spinning around.
What do you mean?
They're not doing the classical.
Why do you think it's the Hanover State Opera's ballet company? Why do you think it's alternative?
Because he's doing weird shit. Ballet's already boring as fuck. So once you start doing like, oh, we're not gonna do the spins and the toes, then what are you left with? You're left with shit on your face because you're in for a bad time.
I come from German stock. I'm a first generation. My dad was born in Germany, so I feel like I can speak from expertise here. My family also was in the art world. My grandfather, painter, Dean, a composer. So I feel like I'm speaking from a position of authority. And I can say this story is the most German shit ever.
Yes.
To combine like passionate ballet beliefs and just like high art beliefs. This is where Bach came from. This is where all the greats, they take their ballet, they take their high art seriously, but they also take their shit seriously. There's a lot of shit. I just feel like shit, a lot of low culture, a lot of shit talk, and a lot of high culture. That's Germany. Smash it up and put it on your face.
Scheiße is the word you're looking for. Scheiße is the German word for shit. I would just think, like, let's say I give you the option, Greg. I'm like, do you want to sit and watch a German ballet, like a new one, not like a classic one? There's like the guy came up with a new one. And sit there for 2 hours and watch this, or would you rather have him just smear shit on your face and just cut out the middleman?
This shit.
I'd want the shit.
Yeah, it's faster.
Imagine if it was like, okay, do you want to watch this or get shit smeared in your face, or have to write a report on the ballet and then get shit smeared in your face?
Well, the report does sound funny. The critic called it boring and disjointed. She compared it between alternating a state of feeling insane and being killed by boredom, and compared it to viewing passively, watching the sea from behind the glass, left to sit in the warm, looking at the winter beach, like in a permanent state of retirement. I don't even know what that means, but I like it.
I bet in German it sounds just exactly the same. And I bet she could just fucking cut and paste that for every ballet review. Like, Sally, we need another ballet review. She's like, here you go. You feel insane and bored to death.
Well, her first response was like, he came up to her and he said he was responding to decades of annihilatory criticism. And she was like, I gave you plenty of good reviews. I gave you some bad reviews, and I liked a lot of your work, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
And he's got the job. He's not auditioning, and she's like, no, it was bad. Like, he's not going to get fired over the review. He should get fired over smearing dog shit on a critic. Although, I bet there are artists who applaud this, who are like, yeah, all critics should have their faces smeared with shit. I disagree. I like critics. I like that there are people out there who just, even if they're tearing down work, I'm all for it. I like it. I like reading bad reviews just as much as good reviews. It's helpful.
Here was another quote from the man Marco Goecki, who said, what did he say? He he said that I think the means I chose were certainly not super, absolutely. But I think from a societal viewpoint, making use of such a method will not receive approval or be respected. But then, he defended himself. And he had the little dog, Gustav, who's 14 years old. And he said because of his age, shit's everywhere. So that was part of it. That the shit was right there. It wasn't planned.
Forget that. It was planned. It was planned for sure. The dog's age has nothing to do with it. When I first heard the story, I was like, how did he not get it on his hands? Because that was funny to me, that you would pick up shit with your hands and then smear it on a critic's face.
I assumed he did get it on his hands.
No, I think the dog shit, he picked it up with some paper, walked
He had
over
it in
to
a
the
bag.
critic.
They said it was in his bag, and then he took it out of the bag. It was in a bag in his bag.
He double bagged. You got to double bag the poop so you can smear it when you need to. But he didn't get it on his hand, which is
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I like that. The one last most German thing about this story is that he had done a play or a ballet, like a performance, 4 years before. That was partially based on his dog, Gustav, who is a minor celebrity within the German ballet scene. So this is a famous dog. But the fact that there is a famous dog within the German ballet scene, Gustav, is very German to me.
I'm trying to imagine watching a fucking German ballet and being bored as fuck. Going insane, and someone's like, it's based on my dog, right? Like, get the fuck out of here. The only thing that could make the story more German is if the critic was Jewish. You don't have to point. I think Aaron knows. Aaron, if he didn't point, would you have known to just hit the music?
Yep.
Great.
I mean, it can't hurt. It's silent. You don't have to point out the point.
You point too much. People now are flocking to YouTube. They're subscribing in droves, and they're just looking at you point, like trying to get in the camera.
But that's good. It's just a little fun game that we all play. Me and Aaron.
Are you having fun, Aaron? Do you like that game?
Nah.
What do you think? If we
Really?
have faith in you to know when to play the music.
No, sometimes it's tough.
Well, sometimes also I'll want to hit it early, and there's no way he would know. But it's just we just decided to for whatever reason.
What if we snap at you? What if we do that?
That's not.
That'd be rough.
I mean, it's like a band conductor. I'm like Questlove, coming in on the beat. Let's go.
Just do throw your finger up.
Okay. I mean, I think he picked the perfect music there. That had sort of a German classical feel to it. That little sound drop.
I cannot find my parents.
There's a little Dean Rosenthal right there. Our second story is about a cunning fake priest who has been accused of swindling millions of dollars from churches in his local area. I believe this is in the Midwest, and using the money to fund his expensive lifestyle, including bizarre purchases like premium llamas. Premium llamas, Anthony. Keep that store brand llama shit the fuck away from me.
I mean, I love all of this. A cunning fake priest. How cunning do you have to be a fake priest? Why would you think someone was lying if they told you you're a priest? They're like, hey, I'm a priest. Like, I believe you. I believe you. I'm not going to ask where you went to preschool. I'm just going to be like, okay, I believe you. Why people give money to churches, I have no idea. They're just going to be buying pews and shit. Buying like Bibles and donuts. Churches love buying donuts. They don't get taxed. Don't give them your money. Do not give Joel Osteen your money. Osteen? Aaron, which is it? Osteen. Don't give him your money. Don't give any churches money. They don't pay taxes on it. And if they do get money,
that's your problem.
If they
with
do
church?
get money, they're going to fuck it up and buy premium llamas for a cunning fake priest. This guy, was he a fake priest? I didn't read the story. Was he a fake priest and was like looking for shit to do and then got into the llama game? Or was he trying to get llamas, premium llamas, and thought the best way to do it is to pretend to be a priest and ask churches for money? Or was he standing outside asking for money before they went in?
So I think the llamas were just one of those little details that really sell the story, get it into the headline, not his focus. I think his focus was just being a fake priest. He went all around the Midwest over the last 30 years, and it's not like he was hiding, because to be a priest, you got to be a man of the public. And he would do weddings, he would do confessions, he would start up churches, baptisms, all that. But at no point in any of these stops did he ever actually go to preschool. He was never trained. He just was a swindler. And eventually, like, his luck would run out in each town after like a couple years after getting some money. And then he would just go a couple hours away. And he just would do it all up and down Indiana in the Midwest, where he was just getting people to pay for him. And one of the things that he liked to buy were some Argentine llamas, claiming that they would be part of a healing ministry he was trying to build. I don't know why.
I would think it's for the manger scene at the end of the year. It's the big party. I want to know how he got caught in each town.
Yeah.
Were they
me
like
too.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Jim? Get the fuck out of here. You don't know what you're talking about. You know what the difference is between giving a confession to a real priest versus a fake priest?
What?
0. There's no difference whatsoever. I don't know why you'd be mad. I'd be like, yeah, oh, my baby's not really baptized because the fake priest did it? What the fuck ever. It still got wet.
The people described being really impressed by him. One parishioner said they felt like God was in the room while he was up at the pulpit preaching.
I mean, this makes me consider that every priest I've ever met's been a fake one. That's why they've got that bookmark built into their Bible. So they can just open it up and be like, oh, it's like the Bible says, thou shalt honor no God before me. Like, you're like, okay, yeah, okay. I guess that makes sense. Thanks for coming to my mom's funeral. There's no reason for these people to be out and about. And was he getting money? Was he stealing it from the church, or was he like doing a collection and then just walking out with it?
No, he was like setting up his own ministry. That's where I'm a little confused, where like it was his own church. I don't know if he was getting funds to actually use a church, or, you know, can priests just like rent a church? Or I guess not.
You could do a tent. You could do a tent situation.
Yeah.
And just like, oh my God, look, I'm dancing with a snake now. They're fucked up.
He did go to jail, I believe, briefly, and wouldn't respond. I think Vice was the one who broke this story. Wouldn't talk to Vice at all. But if you go to his Facebook page, he's collecting money right now, trying to go to Portugal. So watch out, Portugal.
Portugal, the man. You want to see my impression of a fake priest? Who's really selling it? Ask me if I'm a real priest.
Father Ryan, just looking at your background, I'm just like a little concerned. Are you a real priest?
Yes, my son.
Oh, thank you. But like, did you go to school for it, or?
Of course, my son.
Oh, okay. Because I noticed just like some inconsistencies with everything that you've been doing.
Like what, my son?
Well, you don't seem to have your Bibles really straight. You don't know all the stories. I don't know what the llamas are for.
I know all the stories. I've got the Bible right here. Look at the collar. That's all you need to look at, my son. I'm a real priest. Tell me all your sins. Don't look at me. Tell me all your sins.
Thank you, Father.
That's right, my son. How can you tell a priest is a fake priest?
How?
They're not fucking kids. This is why my dad doesn't listen to the podcast.
Right off the dome there. It's a good one. That's why my kids don't listen to the podcast. Jasper Krause is the subject of our next story. He was an experienced bird handler, but that didn't save his life when his aggressive pet rooster took Jasper down by plunging a spur into his leg.
See, when you say things like expert bird handler,
that's experienced.
If you are killed by a bird, you gotta in your obituary, it's got to say amateur. It's got to say like was still finding his way in the bird community before he got killed by a bird. But I love is that his daughter who found him. His daughter. Yeah. Imagine like getting up and being like seeing a little blood, and then seeing your dad laying there in a pool of his own blood, and she's like, "What happened, Dad?" And he was about to die, and all he could say was, "Rooster, rooster." I think that's hilarious. That your last words are rooster. And okay,
I mean,
in this story, it says the rooster just got mad and like kicked him in the leg, and he bled out. Like it's a tragic mistake. I gotta think there's a possibility he was trying to have sex with the rooster. I don't want to slander the dead, but in this case, an amateur bird handler, I got to think he was trying to get in
It's
there.
one of those things that you only have to fuck up once to go from pro to amateur. Like maybe he was professional his whole life, but he messed this situation up. These roosters, this breed of rooster is known as very gentle, like great for children, docile. And so I think that would support your theory that something was going on a little untoward.
He was either making fun of the rooster or trying to have sex with it.
Yeah, don't make fun
It
of it.
reminds me of when I was a little kid. My dad, like when I'm like being a comedian, when I look back on like really making adults laugh, I'm like, okay, I had this in me. When my dad, we went on a ski trip, and my dad and I are skiing, and I'm about to go down like a black diamond for like the first time. And my dad was like, Anthony, be like very serious. He was like, Anthony, before you go down this hill, be very, very careful. A few years ago, and I think he was just trying to scare me. It was like a few years ago, an expert skier like went off the slope, like stay on the slope basically, don't go off and like into the trees or whatever. An expert skier went off the slope and fell to his death. And I go, Dad, that's not an expert. That's like the definition of not. He wasn't an expert then. And my dad laughed so hard, then I just like skied off down the hill. But I was like, no, I don't believe he was an experienced bird handler. That's a first time bird handler mistake. That's a rookie mistake when it comes to bird handling.
Well, imagine if you are the daughter, you come over, and you see your dad in a pool of blood, and maybe he can't say the word rooster because he's already bleeding out. He's lost consciousness, and you're like, who did this? And then you just see a bunch of bloody rooster footprints walking away. It's a sad, sobering moment. I would imagine that your rooster took your dad down.
But what are the chances that someone took the rooster, grabbed its back, and then clawed you right in the leg with it? A rooster could be a murder weapon if you're not trying to fuck it. Aaron, how would you rather die? Would you rather a rooster kills you while you're trying to have sex with it, or someone you know and trust takes a rooster and stabs you with it?
Probably the know and trust. Yeah.
Okay, you're not a risk taker, I assume.
The wound was an inch deep, that seems pretty deep. It was like one of the spurs.
You get in the right part of the leg, it's game over.
This guy had recovered from cancer. He had gone through chemo and was healthy the previous 2 years. He was in his 60s, so he had recovered from cancer only to get it from the rooster. But this was one of those stories that you read the whole story, and then at the very end, they drop what to me was the key part of the story at the very end. And it was that the daughter had owned the rooster and had given it to her dad after the rooster had already attacked her own daughter.
Wow. The daughter tried to have sex with the rooster too? That's a bad gift.
Wow.
A killer rooster is a bad gift. This guy should have known better as an experienced bird handler. Okay, Greg, you're the daughter.
Okay.
I'm the dad. Because I feel like just going, your last words being rooster, I can't abide by it. So I'm the dad. I'm in my own blood. You find me in the farm. I'm laying there.
Oh my gosh, Dad, what happened? Are you okay?
Cock-a-doodle do.
What is there something wrong with the rooster? How are you? What happened?
Cock-a-doodle do.
No, I know that's what roosters say, but why are you bleeding, Dad?
Cornflakes. Wake up.
Where is the rooster?
It's morning. Cock-a-doodle do. Play the music.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Last headline.
Was it hitting the table or was it yelling into the mic?
A little of both.
It was the look on your face. Suddenly you seemed like a German ballet director. I was like, damn, I wouldn't want to be Anthony's kid on a bad day.
That's how I feel all the time, and you would love to be my kid. Put on a diaper, see how much you enjoy it. Cock-a-doodle. Don't.
Anthony's going to finish the pod by himself. Aaron and I are leaving.
Get out. Bring me my dog shit.
Following story is a classic American tale. It's our last headline, as the song said, of a father and a daughter playing catch in the backyard. And one throw went a little too far and rolled down into a creek. And what did the daughter believes she was about 12, 13 years old, find in the creek, but a bag. And what's in the bag? Human remains. So the father and daughter called the police, who arrived, opened the bag, and told these dumbasses it was a sex doll.
I know it sounds silly, but I grew up in Pennsylvania. And we all know the story. If you grew up, it's a local thing. We all know the story about the time we assumed it was a sex doll on the side of the hill. Everyone's like, don't worry about that. It's a sex doll. For years. To leave it alone, it's a sex doll. Come to find out, real dead body. So now when you see one, you got to just assume it's real. You don't want to go through what those people went through.
It's like a reverse, boy who cried sex doll situation.
Exactly. It's a reverse boy who cried sex doll situation. I mean, I wonder. I wish I could be the cop who came to the daughter and was like, "I want to talk to your daughter. Was she 8? It's a sex doll. It's not a dead. Don't worry, it's not a dead body. It's a sex doll. When a man is feeling a certain way and he can't find a rooster, he goes for the sex doll. And then when he's done with the sex doll, sometimes he chucks it in the creek. So sleep well."
It was in Pennsylvania, so that happens. It was described, though, police said that the plastic bag had an extremely lifelike human foot sticking out of it, although it was a child-sized doll, sex doll, which that's bizarre. The foot was said
How
to...
so?
Well, why would you want a child-sized doll?
So you can teach it things.
The foot was said to be highly detailed, complete with a French manicure. So they thought it was like a foot sticking out of a bag. They made the call.
All sex dolls have a French manicure. And you know how you tell the difference between a dead body and a sex doll? You fuck it.
What am I doing? You already did one.
And now it's time for
Oh, shit.
Choo choo.
Recommendation Station. Greg, what do you got for us this
That's my bad this week with the point. I'm gonna go. Well, I read a book that you had already recommended, Dinosaurs by Lydia Millette, which I really enjoyed. I love Lydia Millette in general. Just read her books; she's great. But you had already recommended it, so I'm gonna cheat. And
I think there's power in a double recommendation, but go ahead.
It is. But I wouldn't say it was my number one Lydia Millette book, but I enjoyed it. It was definitely worth reading.
Did I say it was my number one Lydia Millette book?
No, I'm not. I don't even remember what you said at this
It's my
point.
number 2 Lydia Millette book. I've only read the 2. But Children's Bible
I've read
is an all-time.
5 of them now. So she is encroaching on Sigrid Nunez, I think, is my favorite current writer.
More than Rachel Cusk?
I mean, Cusk is in the mix, too. It's tough to pick a favorite. Whoever's, released a book last.
Tessa Moshveg. Emily St. John Mandel.
Millette has, like, a back catalog that I'm just excited to go through. So people, my followers on Goodreads, a lot of people have been following. We'll see that I had written a little, I gave it some love there. So there you go.
Have you been doing Tertulia?
No.
Not the app?
It's like too hard to do too many things.
It's true.
Breakpoint on Netflix, the tennis show, I think is worth watching if you're a casual tennis fan, because I've now talked to people who weren't really into tennis and they thought this show was cool and got them into it. My recommendation, because the order doesn't matter, they're not really sequential, and I don't think they knew what they were doing exactly at first, was skip the first episode entirely. The second episode, which is the Australian Open, is Matteo Berrettini and stuff, is good and stuff, but it gets better as it goes, and there's going to be a second part of the season. But if you were going to watch one episode, watch the one in Madrid, which is about Paula Badosa and Ons Jabeur, who's my favorite women's player right now. That Naomi Osaka's taking a little break. Trailblazer, awesome. But it gives you like what life is like for these tennis pros. They're all total badasses, but it's such like a mental, like crazy kind of gladiator, like bizarre sport, and they like go through a lot. It's a lot of losing. And those two personalities in this episode especially, I think it's the 3rd or 4th episode, the Madrid one with Ons Jabeur. I would start there. If you like that episode, keep going. But it's definitely worth watching.
You just heard a man who works for football for a living describe tennis players as gladiators.
They totally are. That's the thing. I think this show gets to the heart of that it's just like one-on-one. It's all mental. You got like there's no, unlike every other sport other than boxing, you're just out there by yourself.
Have you ever read Infinite Jest?
No, I know. I've been meaning to.
You know, it's huge, but like 90% of it's about tennis.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, you would love it. My recommendation this week is a book, although normally I'm not a big audiobook guy, but there are times that I am. And it's perfect for a book like this. It's called The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin's been doing a lot of press right now for this book. It's just kind of like his philosophy. And I read it, loved it. I honestly, I got the book on Kindle, and then I got the audiobook, and I read as I listened to it, because I love hearing him talk. It's very... there's like a Buddhist aspect to it. It's very Zen, very almost like meditative, just the way to get the most out of your creativity. And it's great. Even if you don't agree with everything, like some of it, I was like, I couldn't use this the way maybe a musician could or a writer could. But I loved hearing his philosophy on things. Listening to it is great. He is very concise. And just hearing him tell his like philosophy, and he gives little tidbits like Eminem likes to write in front of the TV, like with the television going in the background, sits on the couch and just writes like that. That I was like, okay, I love shit like this. I wish there was more of it, but it's a great philosophy and totally worth getting the audiobook for. Again, that's The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin, and that was
Choo-choo.
recommendation station. Walker, take me home, buddy.
Whoa, Nelly Furtado, that's a spicy meatball.